So it's been an interesting week. In J. Cole's world, we had one of the greatest rollouts of an album of all time. Between doing trunk sales with fans, doing ride-along with fans through major cities. I mean, your favorite rapper could never. Hell, my other favorite rappers could never. I think it's one of the most beautiful things to see in the music industry is Cole, the way he's connected with his community. And it's speaking volumes because the numbers are still rising on this album. It's still topping charts. It's still getting some crazy replay value. There's some new songs of his. Well, not new songs he's released, but songs off the album that weren't in, top 5 spins last week or now in the top 5 spins this week. So it's definitely getting some love. He announced the Fall Off Tour, which I will be in attendance to August 19th in Kansas City. I will be there. Although, Cole, I got beef. Why the hell did you announce the tour dates and put a pre-sale the next day like we ain't got bills to pay? Brother, I ain't got whatever $1,000 laying around just to pay for my tickets. You know I'ma go. But I got bills to pay, man. So now I got to try to get these tickets resale from somebody, which they're going to be even more expensive. I know it's going to be an arm and a leg and maybe half a baby, but I'm going to pay it, okay? I'm going to be there. With that, too, we saw, there were some questions we left on the table last week. As far as, what's Cole's top project? Is this it with the Fall Off? Is it still 2014 FHD? I couldn't decide. So I took the last week to put together my personal top 5 J. Cole albums. A couple of my favorite songs off of each and why I think that they're the best ones that you can find on it. And ultimately, I think you'll be surprised to see who I have at number 1. So stick around until the end. But with all that said, thank you for tapping into another episode of The Social Club. I'm your host, Serg. It's great to be back. While we're here, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. Make sure you turn on all your notifications for YouTube, Instagram, all the good jazz in between and in the middle. Share this video with a friend. Share your favorite video with a friend to help this channel expand even more because as you can imagine, we've got even more great content coming your way next week. But with all that, let's dive right in. For those of you that tapped into last week's episode, my number 5 spot probably won't surprise you because I did share a lot of admiration for it. This was Cole's project that really cemented his legacy in my top GOAT conversation, and that is none other than the 2011 track list of The Sideline Story. Now, yes, he had some great work before this. I mean, we're talking about the warm-up drop before this and so forth too. Which was, I think, Cole's real legacy kind of being cemented in itself. But this was at a point where he was really getting his name bigger in the game. He had features with Drake, features with Missy Elliott on there, and I think a couple others even too that really did speak volumes to where his position in the game was kind of becoming. But if I were to give my top 3 off of this album, it comes down to Nobody's Perfect, the Missy Elliott feature. I think that's still one of the best features Cole's ever had to this day. I gotta get some love behind Lights Please, just because Lights Please was Cole. That was Cole really becoming of himself in the rap game. And I think that this was the point where he started to recognize his own position in music and in the industry, as you want to call it, whatever. But Lights Please, that was a hit. That was a classic at the time. It's still a classic to this day, and it still speaks to Cole's character. And then I gotta give my number 3 spot to something a bit slower, but it was a lot more impactful. This was gonna be Lost Ones for me because Lost Ones was a bit close to home. Not me personally, but to the community. And this was the first time I really heard Cole speak in this manner, where it was a song that was genuinely relatable to the general public. Of course, he had some other songs about, being in tough times, getting out the Ville, drug dealer, this, that, the other. Yes, of course. But this was one that felt like it hit the community, and the community felt it very well on a widespread spectrum. I mean, we're talking about young black males in America facing, teen pregnancy scares, unplanned pregnancy scares. Those are real fears. Those are real feelings that people feel. And so this was at a time where I was like, okay, this is Cole really getting into his bag of connecting with, maybe the youth, maybe the community, maybe a bit of both. But that one was always impactful for me. So I give the number 5 spot to The Sideline Story. Coming in at number 4, we've got the 2018 track list of KOD. Kill Our Demons, Kids on Drugs. Apparently it's multiple names. I didn't know that. I just always knew it as KOD. I didn't know what to really call it from that point. But KOD was special because we needed another album from Cole at this point. We had been waiting on another album, obviously following up on For Your Eyes Only. And the music industry was getting kind of dull. Some sounds were getting kind of played out and whatnot. KOD was special just for the approach it took to the industry because it was Cole staying in his bag. He did get a bit more in his rap bag on this one, which I can appreciate with hits like, ATM, Motivate. Both of those were very upbeat, bar for bar kind of verses that he put to those. But those don't even make it in my top three on this one. My top three comes down to Kevin's Heart. Kevin's Heart was a great kind of slower, melancholic R&B jam. I don't want to even say R&B, rap and B, whatever you want to call it, but it was slower. And I thought it was ironic that it did kind of branch off of, Kevin's whole divorce he was going through at the time. So I thought that was a nice play on words. But Kevin's Heart comes to mind. Window Pane, the outro track. Window Pane was just amazing. I think me personally, it's one of my favorite outros that Cole's ever had that's labeled as an outro. And I think that he really couldn't have closed out the project any better if he didn't also do 1985. That's going to be my number three. 1985 was just great, man. I mean, we're talking about a diss track at SoundCloud rappers like, Lil Pump and whatnot that are claiming they're better, claiming they got more wave, claiming they got more swag, claiming they got more pull and this, that, and the other. And Cole didn't even, belittle them. He didn't even talk trash to them. He literally just sat these kids on their head and gave them a nugget. He was like, listen up. Like, that's the ultimate Cole approach. I don't know what more you could expect from the guy. But that being, 1985, Intro to the Fall Off, that's definitely taking one of my top three spots off of KOD. Now coming in at number three, we've got the 2021 hit list of the off season. The off season was special because to me, this is when Cole really got into the art of song formatting and creation with between features, bridges, interludes and whatnot as well too. I feel like this was probably one of his first projects he did aim to give a little bit of everything and rather just a handful of things. He was really good at a handful of things always. Now, this one, I personally can't think of any skips off the top of my head, and this was actually pretty hard for me to give a top three for. But my personal top three on this one, I gotta go 95 South, because I mean, that's real rap. That's real bar for bar rap right there. I mean, we talking straight lyrics, and he didn't let the beat breathe. I mean, that's all I could ask. That's some of the best kind of rapping you can do. When you can't let the beat breathe and you actually talking about something, quality, hands down every time. So I gotta go with 95 South. Another slow jam that really did hit home was Let Go My Hand. This is him talking to the perspective of a father to his son and like what life struggles are gonna be like and how you have to essentially kind of grow to earn your own out here in this world. So I thought that was, again, Cole reaching out to the community, touching hearts of people he's never even met before, don't even know their name or nothing. But again, this was another one that even takes me back to songs like Lost Ones, maybe not the same, message at all, but to that same impact, to where this is something that can be generally relatable to the mass community. So really, really great track here. I really think that was another one of his most impactful ones in his discography. And then we bring it down to Hunger on Hillside. Hunger on Hillside is just one of those songs that you listen to when you might be in a tougher spot or you might need a little motivation or a little push, just that extra to feel like you can get whatever done. Hunger on Hillside does that in so many ways, in inspiring you, motivating you, captivating you, and keeping you focused. It's a beautiful song, all things considered. Hunger on Hillside goes down, to me, it's one of my top 10 Cole songs of all time. That wraps up everything I got for the off season, even though there's so many more songs I should be mentioning. But I'm keeping it at three. I'm keeping it at three. Now, before I get into 1 and 2, I do have to put an asterisk here in the middle for an honorable mention, and that is the Truly Yours mixtape. You could argue for both, but I'm going to keep it at just the first one today. The Truly Yours 2017 mixtape was beautiful in its entirety. Given it's, I think, a 6-song track list, so not very much there. But it was the variety that Truly Yours brought to the table that made it special. And when I think about Truly Yours, the 3 songs that come to mind off the top of my head, Crunch Time. Crunch Time was one of those songs that you didn't know you were in a hard place, but you listen to the song, you know you're in a hard place because you feel everything he talking about. And I think that was an incredible motivational piece by Cole, back at it again, just like he always does. Another one that really jumps off the page for me was Tears for ODB. Tears for ODB was one of those special ones that I think we got the chance to experience Cole at a much more, do I dare say raw level? Pause. But in that sense, though, this is when I felt like we actually got his emotional side off the track. He didn't just talk about the emotions he was going through, We felt it in these lyrics, and I think that was special to the fan base because it's not very often that we get that from an artist where you can feel their own pain too. And then, of course, we got Can I Holla At You? Can I Holla At You is one of those songs, man, that jumped off the page at me. It was incredibly relatable, even in my own shoes, with things I was going on with my own family. I know many of my friends that have went through similar situations with their family members as well too. And it was very well orchestrated from verse 1 to verse 2 to verse 3, incredibly put together, multiple perspectives to be speaking from. And the fact that I think that made it onto a mixtape, I was just appalled. I was like, man, this is album-worthy music. But I'll take a gift as a mixtape on the Truly Yours. So honorable mention right there before we get into the number 2 spot. Now coming in at number 2, and this might shock some of you, it might not. But number 2, I'm gonna give it to The Fall Off. And hear me, I still believe The Fall Off has all the potential in the world to become number 1. But it is lengthy. I still don't have any skips when I go back and play it through and listen to it all the way. There are other songs I listen to more than others, so I think that has, a bit of influence as to why I put it here number 2. It's an incredible album when you let it play front to back, but I look at the number 1 spot as an album that I can just turn on anywhere at any point and I can just roll with it from there. I found myself over the last week turning on The Fall Off and going back to a select handful of songs, and I might get an itch to listen to this song, but then I want to listen to that song on the other side of the album. Then I want to go back to the 29 disc and then the 39 disc. So not that it doesn't have the replayability, because I still am spamming the hell out this album. I still think it's a great work of art. I still think there aren't any skips on it, but I think that you can play, pick and choose on which ones you really want to listen to, and I think that everybody has a different ear to this album as well too. It's like I said on the last video, it's not for everybody. But The Fall Off, I gotta give my top 3. It's still The Let Out. The Let Out, I think, is probably Cole's greatest song he's done in the last 10 years, just because of the difference that it made, the way that he attacked this melody. I think it's a very beautiful piece of art. So The Let Out's got to make it in my top 3 just by default. I am gonna be bringing in a track here that some of you probably don't expect. That's Bombs in the Ville, Hit the Gas, because I just swear to God, when that beat switches up, there's not much you can tell me. It's a beautiful song, all things considered, and it's a bit, different from what he's done on the rest of the album, but that's what I like about it. The first half, Bombs in the Ville, is cool, but when that beat switch and Hit the Gas come through, man, I take off into somewhere in the realm of what I don't know. I'm telling you, when that second half of the song comes on, I'm floating out in 4 dimensions of space somewhere, eyes closed, just vibing out. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of work. If you feel like it's not, you genuinely just don't like music, that's okay, but that's a problem for you and God. Now, I gotta give my number 1 spot on this album to 39 Intro, because I don't think he's done a better intro. I don't think I've heard Cole rap better. I probably have, but not like this. Not like this with the beat switch and how the energy picked up and everything. I swear that beat kicks in on the second half of 39 Intro, and I'm ready to run through a brick wall. And I want to rap every goddamn word on the way through it. It's a beautiful piece of architecture, from Cole's rap structure, from Cole's attack on the beat, from the production of the beat. I think this one altogether is it could be considered the best song on the album. I might be hurting feelings with that one, but I'm gonna say it carries that kind of weight. But here we are at number 1. The fact I put The Fall Off at number 2, you probably can guess what number 1 is, but I'm gonna catch you lacking, because you think it's 2014 Forest Hills Drive, don't you? It is, but it's not. It's the 2014 Forest Hills Drive 10-year anniversary edition that we were blessed with back in December of 2024. What I think is special about this project is that the additions he made in the 2024 re-release were songs that were originally supposed to be on the album in 2014. So I think that's beautiful in itself that 10 years later we got to see what else was in Cole's mind at the time. And with that, there were a few songs that jumped off the page at me that weren't there initially. Now, let's get one thing clear. 2014 Forest Hills Drive has no skips. I don't care where you start. You can start at the back and go to the front. You can start at the front and go to the back. You start in the middle and play it frontwards, middle and play it backwards. It doesn't matter. It has 0 skips. If there's a song you skip on 2014 Forest Hills Drive, put it in the comments, because I want to know. And then I'm also going to report your YouTube profile, because you're a liar. you're a liar, a cheater, and a scammer. There's 0 skips on this album all the way through. It's an amazing piece of work. But if I gave it my top 3, I am going to consider the songs off of the 10-year anniversary version here because I feel like that's only fair since I'm using the 10-year anniversary version as my number 1 spot. One that comes to mind is Keep Heaven Dancing. I think that can go down to be Cole top 10 all time. And I genuinely wish he would have released this with the album back when it did come out because this is great. This is not Cole like we usually hear, but he does it so well. He executes this perfectly with this sound. Another one that really jumped off the page at me was Black Man in Hollywood, again, because it's incredibly relatable for, I'm not a black man in Hollywood, I'm a black man in Kansas City. But what I can appreciate about this track is it does go into exposing some of the realm of, being a black man in Hollywood and facing the oppression you do as a minority, facing the racial tension you do on trying to get cast on sets or get studio time over other producers or artists. I'm not in Hollywood. I'm a black man in Kansas City, so I can't relate to that personally, but I know those are things that artists like myself in the industry that they do face and they do have to experience. So to hear Cole speak from that from his perspective was very special. Now, as we come back to number 1, I genuinely couldn't choose between the 2. So this one, you can go, it's give or take. It's whichever one you want. But I'm going to give it to January 28th or Love Yours. And both these songs carry a similar amount of weight. They carry a kind of a similar message. Love Yours is probably one of the most inspirational songs of our generation. It's one of the most beautiful songs of our generation as far as, self-awareness and self-love goes. January 28th was special because this was again him just going bar for bar, and he's telling his life story again in such dramatic fashion, such beautiful fashion, such a visual manner with words. And I think that the poetry behind January 28th is why I do put it at my number 1. But again, that's interchangeable with Love Yours, because Love Yours, man, if you listen to that long enough with the right mindset, that'll make a grown man cry. That song is beautiful. But that's going to do it, man. That's my top 5 Cole albums, my favorite 3 songs off of each. Let me hear from you down in the comments. What do you guys think? Where do you guys put these albums? Are they in your top 5? Do you have a different top 5? Or do you have a different favorite song off of them? Let's keep the conversation going because the more that y'all comment, the more we get paid, the closer I can get to getting a Cole ticket. That's what's important at the end of the day. No, I'm just playing. But guys, thanks for tapping into another episode of the Social Club. It's been Serg and it's been well. And until next time.